threat. I want to bring in Shan Wu, CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor. All right, good to see you. So it's a big if. If the Department of Justice were to actually investigate, what could it do?
It's kind of hard to figure out what the criminal hook would be here. As the New York Times accurately put, it's really a First Amendment issue. And the president is trying to treat the Justice Department and the FBI as his private fixers. And obviously they're not. That was Michael Cohen's job. And they're not,
FBI's... He nominated, he nominated, Jeff Sessions. So I guess there's some ownership. He feels like it's his. Sessions is his in which to order around. But you're saying that's not how the Department of Justice works, nor the Attorney General's job. He's serving the people, the American people, not the president.
Exactly. And just to follow their normal law enforcement protocols, there has to be some credible predicate for opening the investigation, some allegation that a crime has occurred. And the most you can stretch it to here is the president's kind of worried that somebody who doesn't like him, who wants to talk to the press, might also leak other things like national security issues. But there's no hint of that in the op-ed. I mean, he has a HR kind of issue, not a national security issue. It's an internal matter that his staff needs to solve. And certainly that person's not being very loyal to him, but it simply is not a criminal matter, and by no stretch of the imagination is it a national security matter.
So the president feels like he has a pretty good case. This was him on Air Force One yesterday.
Do you think Jeff Sessions should be investigating who the author of the op-ed piece was, or who somebody?
I think so, because I think it's national security. Yeah, I would say Jeff should be investigating who the author of that piece was, because I really believe it's national security.
And is there action that should be taken against the New York Times?
Well, we're going to see. I'm looking at that right now.
All right, the president says it's a national security issue. The New York Times came out with its own statement, said it's a constitutional freedom of speech issue. So if the two were to go toe-to-toe, the White House were to find a way to take the New York Times to court, how would those arguments unfold?
I think the New York Times would come out well ahead on that argument in terms of the First Amendment issue. And, there have been other situations historically, of course, where things that actually are classified or could involve national security are still leaked in the name of the freedom of the press, the right to know. People could invoke a whistleblower kind of protection, whoever may have leaked the documents. But we're not even there yet. This is simply somebody expressing their opinion. So frankly, I think the president would be hard-pressed to find a legitimate lawyer who would even want to bring that case because it's so frivolous.
All right. Then there's the other issue that's been a thorn in the side of the president for a really long time. And we're talking about, President Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, who is now saying that he wants to actually tear up that hush agreement, that non-disclosure agreement with Stormy Daniels, and says that he wants his $130,000 back. So it says a couple things. A, he hasn't been reimbursed by the president, perhaps, for that $130,000. But if that non-disclosure agreement were to be torn up, does it simply, give license to both Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels to, speak freely? Is it that simple?
It's not quite that simple, because for the litigation that's been commenced to actually end, to have a settlement, so to speak, everybody has to agree to that settlement. I think Cohen's trying to make a legal argument that by taking the contract back, there wouldn't be a case anymore, and he wants to dismiss his case. And he may be right about that, but just his wishes alone don't make a settlement. And it's part of a course of conduct that he's doing. He's kind of on a tear of tearing up things. He's been dropping other suits as well. And obviously it's because while the NDA once served the purpose of trying to have things silent, it's gone exactly the opposite way now. To pursue this further in civil litigation exposes him to having to go through the discovery process. He has to answer questions, has to be deposed, and of course, ultimately, it would expose the president as well. So there's no longer any benefit for him, and maybe he could use the extra $130K too.
Right, he's an attorney, wouldn't he know all of that? But at the same time, it also adds to the confusion over, was the agreement one that was made strictly between Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels? Was it, at the, wishes, request of the president? Because he's his attorney. It just makes it far more complicated, and one would think that the attorney, Michael Cohen, would anticipate that before saying and suggesting this.
Well, I think he did know all that, but I think at the time they thought this was a way to keep all those secrets hidden, and it's kind of backfired on him now, and that's exactly what he does not want to have come
Okay.
out now.
Yeah. All right. Shan Wu, good to see you. Thanks so
Good to
much.
see you. You're welcome.